So Local Motors is a revolutionary American car company that's innovating the way that cars are designed, built, and sold. And our first vehicle, the Rally Fighter, is an example of that. This is a vehicle whose design was crowdsourced from our community. Our community is thousands of designers across over 130 countries and territories in the world. And the Rally Fighter is the first example of bringing that crowd together to bring something that is truly different and unique. So our mantra is driven by design. And so everything that we do is focused on that. We believed inherently that if America's going to buy exciting cars, they need to be sexy. They need to be great looking, because no federal subsidy is going to force people enough to buy the cars that we need to have. We need to make them desirable, and that's what the Rally Fighter means. If you take a short look behind you right now and take a look at what's there, it gives you an idea of why we think desire is all about it. Local Motors has developed a way to build niche cars profitably. And so the niche that was being focused on here with the Rally Fighter was a premium, authentic off-road experience for the American Southwest. So we're talking about Phoenix, Vegas, Dallas, LA, San Diego, Mexico, specifically Baja California, Utah. This is a vehicle that is meant to ride the range at an average of 50 to 60 miles an hour on average, and able to ride the desert because it's got 20 inches of wheel travel in the rear and 18 inches of wheel travel in the front. Now, we don't want to, a trophy truck, which is sort of the pinnacle of desert racing, is going to have slightly more travel and definitely more horsepower and torque, so we don't expect this to win every class in Baja, but as a vehicle that's capable of pre-running and racing out of the box without any evolution of the vehicle, this is it. The body's a mix of carbon fiber and fiberglass, and it's one of the things we like to highlight. One of the central focuses of the business was not to reinvent the power plant, but was to reinvent the weight of the vehicle. So to try to significantly lightweight the vehicle, which really does a lot, the most, to improve your fuel economy. So if we look carefully at the vehicle, you can see on the nose right here, one, you have a vinyl wrap that's covering most of the vehicle. So this is vinyl, but this is raw. This is vinyl right here. And so underneath here is a laminate schedule of glass fiber, underneath with a sandwich and some honeycomb pieces inside the vehicle. And then underneath here, you've got a laminate schedule that's got carbon long fiber, longitudinal base fiber on the top, and then glass behind. Every place we use fiber, we use it for the ability to lightweight and add strength to the body. But the primary crash energy that's absorbed in this vehicle is absorbed through the chassis. So we made a distinct step, in some senses, going backwards away from the unibody in order to be able to get the vehicle to be separate in its crash energy and its aerodynamics and look. So the body is responsible for the aerodynamics and look, and the chassis is responsible for the crash energy primarily. If you look at the equation that defines the fuel efficiency of a vehicle, the term that is attached to the coefficient of drag is a V-cubed term. The term that is attached to the coefficient of friction, so to speak, the sort of around town mileage, is a single order V term. So therefore, what that basically means, the mathematics work out to, is when you're below 35 miles an hour, the small coefficient of drag, even though it's attached to a V-cubed term, doesn't do as much as the large coefficient that's attached to the coefficient of rolling friction. So basically what that means is that if you care about driving under 35 miles an hour, what you care about is lightweighting the vehicle. And that's what we focused on the most. So we definitely didn't ignore drag when we created the vehicle, but our focus was around town mileage.
The overall weight, how heavy is the...
3,200 pounds.
And this is using a BMW 335 engine.
Well, it's not just the 335. It's the M57 engine, the M57 power plant. And so that is now currently in the 335 in the United States, and it is in the X5 in the United States.
How supportive was BMW in providing the engine?
So I'm glad you asked that question. It's a great question. One of the most strategic things that you can do as a car manufacturer is figure out what your power plant is going to be, what some people would be the heart. At this point, we're not ready to announce the strategic partnerships that we have, but the important thing, as you see right here, is we like BMW. We think they're great. We've packaged this vehicle in order to be able to fit 4 different diesel power plants, and so there's an opportunity for us to parlay across a number of them. We would like to have BMW as a partner. We're just not ready to announce it at this point. The engine system that's in here now, estimated by the company that makes it, does 30 miles per gallon in the city and 36 miles per gallon on the highway in a heavier vehicle. We believe that there is an opportunity for this vehicle to do significantly better than that, specifically in around town mileage. And this has been spec'd to be able to run 35s. This is 32 and change. OD, outside diameter, and so the wheels and tires could get even bigger. If you ask the off-road racers, they would minimum 33s. You know, they won't race without 33s. So this can go up to 35s and make the full turning radius and make the full travel of the wheel. Though the vehicle also, I should note, has a dual ride height capability, so it's manually adjustable in order to be able to lower the vehicle 8 inches and run like a performance GT. It's a 3-stage shock, and so lowering 8 inches puts it down into the harder ride of the second stage, and with a 20-inch rim and a thinner profile tire will make a really great looking vehicle with lower resistance, definitely. So this would be the low ride height as an example, and this would be the high ride height, manually adjustable between the two. So you can see it's not slammed, but it is definitely something that is provides a very different look. Not only is this vehicle crowdsourced, and it has 4 different designers that contributed to this individual vehicle out of the thousands of designers that are part of the Local Motors community, it's also an open source vehicle. And so what that means to us is that all of the chassis data, all of the body data is available for you to be able to utilize and develop your own products off of. It is open in terms of the parts that we use in the vehicle. For example, if you look inside here, you would see, and I can't really show you, but you can just see the top of it right here. This is a Ford F-150 spindle that's in here. Spindle is what attaches the control arms to the wheel. And so we're using the Ford engineering to be able to do it, and we buy those parts from them, and there's no sense to recreate the wheel. They've already built a beautiful spindle, and we like it. This is a Volkswagen blinker that's DOT specified. We'd much rather buy that from Volkswagen and use it and let people know that Volkswagen makes a great vehicle. You may recognize this from the Dodge Challenger. We thought it was a great looking mirror, and we're very proud to use it. And all over the vehicle you will find things like that. We make a habit of using, not just a habit, we make a rule of using DOT specified, currently produced, very low cost parts. We are constrained in certain ways, and happily so, because we want to build a vehicle that can be EPA certified and a vehicle that meets all the federal motor vehicle safety standards. Well, so for airbags, I think the most important thing is you can apply for an exemption from airbags if you're doing federal motor vehicle safety standards. So an easy path to market for a company like us is to meet all of the federal motor vehicle safety standards, and the ones that are the most expensive to meet is to waiver them at the beginning. What you see in here is you see a Ford F-150 column with an airbag in it. And so the real thing is an airbag in and of itself is not a difficult thing to build. Making sure that the bag is sewn so that it occupies the space that you need when it's detonated is an important thing. We designed the camber of the windshield to meet with other airbags that were using the same, so that it had the easiest way in order for us to be able to backwards engineer into an airbag. And then you need, of course, to be able to make sure that you can measure the shock load on the front of the vehicle so that the airbag actuates appropriately. That is about a $6 million program in order to be able to do it. So it's definitely, if you think of the development costs on this vehicle, development costs on this vehicle are right now under $2 million. Just to do an airbag program triples the development cost of the vehicle. And so for us, the question to our customers is, how badly do you want an airbag? Would you rather have a 5-point harness on the vehicle, or would you rather have an airbag and pay more for the vehicle? Well, we milled the shifter, and it's an automatic shifter. It's BMW's shifter that comes with it, that works with the system. It's made to go with the system, and basically we milled a top for it. It's an automatic. Like most premium authentic off-road experiences, you won't find a manual shift setup. You need to keep both hands on the wheels as you're racing across the desert. It does have the tip shift. A couple of things about this vehicle. Certainly we've talked about the dynamics, ride and drive, some of the engineering of it, but also the treatment. More than just the shape of the vehicle, we talk about the wrapping of the vehicle. This vehicle is made to be not only sexy in its shape, but display from its treatment one of the things we think American motors could go to. And so if we look to our sides here, if we look at the side of this Ford, it's got a beautiful paint job on it. It's an incredibly environmentally caustic process to go through putting paint on. And it also chips and scratches, as we know, pretty easily. So what we wanted to do is, in the microfactory creation, to sort of put these side by side, we wanted to be able to coat the vehicle quickly and in a very environmentally friendly way. And so what we do is we have just raw gel coat on the vehicle, which looks like this. And this comes right out of the mold, if you will. And then it's wrapped. And the wrap takes advantage, as you can see here, this wrap is emblazoned. This is a matte wrap, and it is emblazoned with a picture of one of our great American presidents, Teddy Roosevelt. On the other side, you will see a famous dual personality, sometimes known as a famous ranchero, other times known as a famous villain, Pancho Villa. And the idea was to have two people who were known, he, the creator of the National Park System and a great lover of the outdoors, and Pancho Villa as a great lover of the Mexican range, if you will, and a revolutionary and ranchero. And so since desert racing is a mix between American and Mexican fields of a competition, we thought that was an appropriate thing to have on a vehicle like this. When you buy a Local Motors experience, you're buying more than just a car. You're buying a group of friends you never knew. You're buying into a club that is a club of people who really want to be solid car folks, who really want to understand what's going on in their vehicle. And the best way to do that is to build your car. So you come and you make your car with us over the course of 2 weekends, and that really is the experience you're getting.
You're there in the shop.
Oh yeah, you're there in the shop building the car. And we proved it with this. This is a 2-week build right here, and basically 2 weekends means that we'll prep for 4 days, then you come in Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we'll prep for another 4 days, and you come in Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's a 6-day process for you, 2 weekends.
And then it becomes a family heirloom.
Exactly. It means something you can pry out of your hands over your cold, dead body. People talk about resale value, and I think that's an important thing. You know, Honda is regularly told out as something that is got great resale value, and it does, in the construct of what I would consider mature automotive, because it's something where there isn't any personal attachment to the car, other than in rare cases. You've owned something for a long time, you get personally attached to it. We just want to accelerate that, and by having you involved in the build of the vehicle, it means that you are personally attached to it, especially if you build it with your son or daughter or wife or spouse. That's the kind of thing that you'll never want to let go of, even if it doesn't run. And when was the last time you paid a lot of money for a Honda that doesn't run? It's the kind of thing that creates attachment.
Thank you very, very much.
Hey, thank you. It's a pleasure.